The Chosen One was not a blessing. He was a response. In our previous analysis, we established a terrifying truth. The Jedi Order was not the guardian of peace. They were a glacier, a massive frozen monolith that stopped the natural flow of the galaxy. They mistook silence for harmony and stagnation for stability. But in the laws of nature, stasis is not peace. Stasis is death. When the blood stops moving, it clots. When the water stops flowing, it becomes poisonous. For 1,000 years, the Republic was rotting from the inside. The Force is not just a magic field. It is the living immune system of the universe. And it recognized this stagnation as a critical threat. The Jedi had become a blockage in the artery of existence. So the Force did what any living organism does when it faces a blockage that refuses to clear. It did not send a diplomat. It did not send a teacher. It triggered a violent biological emergency response. The prophecy of the Chosen One has been misunderstood for generations. We thought it was a promise of a savior who would bring light. We were wrong. It was not a blessing. It was a biological alert. The Force created Anakin Skywalker not to give the Jedi a medal for their service, but to break the ice that they had created, even if it meant shattering the world in the process. Consider the anomaly of his birth. Anakin Skywalker had no father. The Jedi called it emergence. The Sith called it power. But let us look at it through the lens of pathology. In biology, when a system is compromised, the body can synthesize a specialized agent to target the infection. Anakin was synthesized by the Force itself. He was a direct injection of pure, volatile energy into a sterile world. Why was he so emotional? Why was he so unstable? Why couldn't he follow the rules? Because you cannot train an antibody to be a pacifist. The Jedi tried to suppress his nature. They tried to turn a creature of fire into a monk of stone. They failed because they were trying to cure the very cure that was sent to destroy them. Anakin was programmed with a singular biological directive: destroy the structures that are choking the flow. To the Jedi, he was a problem child. To the Force, he was the perfect viral agent designed to infiltrate the host, identify the calcified cells, and burn them out. This brings us to the moment we call the tragedy, Order 66. We look at the burning temple, the fallen younglings, and the betrayals, and we weep. We see it as the ultimate victory of evil. But stop looking at it with human morality for a second. Look at it with cold biological logic. When a body is infected with a deadly pathogen, it raises its internal temperature. It triggers a fever. A fever is violent. It causes hallucinations. It destroys healthy cells along with the sick ones. It brings the body to the brink of death. But the fever is not the disease. The fever is the body's attempt to kill the disease. Order 66 was the galactic fever. The stagnation of the Jedi and the corruption of the Republic had become so deep, so systemic, that a surgical removal was impossible. The entire system had to be cauterized. The clones were the mechanism of this heat. And Anakin Skywalker was the spark. He marched into the Jedi Temple not because he was simply evil, but because the infection had to be stopped at the source. The Jedi dogma had become an autoimmune disease. To save the galaxy, the Jedi Order, every part of it, had to be purged. It was brutal. It was horrific. But in the eyes of the Force, it was necessary. Many argue that Anakin failed because he joined the Sith. But this is where the genius of the system reveals itself. If the Jedi were a blood clot blocking the flow, the Sith were a cancer. multiplying unchecked and consuming everything. To restore balance, the Force needed an agent capable of destroying both. Anakin Skywalker was the chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is poison. It is a toxic substance introduced to the body to kill cancer cells. But in doing so, it almost kills the patient. Anakin had to fall to the dark side to acquire the power necessary to destroy the Jedi. He dissolved the old order. Then as Darth Vader, he spent 20 years hunting down the remnants, ensuring the stagnation could never return. And finally, at the very end, he turned on the Sith. He killed Palpatine. He removed the cancer. He was the universal solvent. He dissolved every single power structure that dared to control the Force. He didn't switch sides. He destroyed all sides. This reframes the entire existence of Darth Vader. Why did he have to suffer? Why the burning on Mustafar? Why the suit that trapped him in constant agony? Because an antibody destroys itself in the process of curing the host. Anakin had to burn away his humanity to become the monster the galaxy needed. He had to become the villain in the history books so that the galaxy could be reset. The Empire was not the sickness. The Empire was the cast you put on a broken bone. It was the rigid, oppressive structure that held the galaxy together while it healed. It was a purgatory, a necessary period of darkness and recovery. So when you look at the black mask of Darth Vader, do not see a tyrant. Do not see a fallen hero who lost his way. See a surgical instrument, sharp, cold, sterile, and covered in blood. He did not betray the Force. He was the only one who actually listened to it. He cleared the blockage. He killed the infection, and he died when the job was done. The Chosen One brought balance, yes, but we learned the hard way that balance is not a soft song. Balance is a reset button. And sometimes, to save the life of the organism, you have to kill the part of it that refuses to change. Anakin Skywalker was not a blessing to be celebrated. He was a painful, necessary medical procedure, and the galaxy is still wearing the scar. Welcome to the lore abyss. Here we don't just read the history, we perform the autopsy.